This is a dramatic reading of my favorite thread of tweets ever. You likely will never have read it because it didn't go very viral. The top tweet got 320 likes, but I still sometimes go I followed this account because of this tweet, and occasionally I see it and it's still the pinned tweet of that account, and I go and I look at it and it brings me a lot of joy. So it is about quite a niche British celebrity who is a man called Christopher Biggins.
A bottle of red wine!
You are taking it?
He is a bit of a pompous twat, got a bit of a reputation for being a bit of a knob. He used to, I think, be quite famous back in the day, but now he's pretty much just in like pantos. So, this thread begins. Who is the biggest celebrity twat you've ever met? This will probably come as a surprise to no one, but for me, it has to be Christopher Biggins. Thread. I worked as a sound engineer on a cartoon called Stravinsky's Garden. I can't stop laughing at tweet one. You can't stop laughing at tweet one. Around 17 years ago. Biggins was cast as an owl called Mr. Tirrett. It was a very low budget production. I need to minimize chat.
Okay, minimize.
I'm moving you away so you're not out of the corner of my eye, chat, because all I can see is lulls popping up and then it's making me want to laugh, and that's not cool. Biggins was cast as an owl called Mr. Tirrett. It was a very low budget production, which to my knowledge is yet to air, but was Biggins' biggest role for years. Biggins has a public persona as a sort of jovial uncle, a big laugher, but this was not the case on the set of this cartoon. Every day, there was a big, unnecessary drama. Every fucking day. First of all, he was at least an hour late every day because he didn't have time to remember bloody codes for the parking outside the studio. The code was 1234. At the end of the production, he presented the crew with parking expenses of over £1,500 for 3 weeks of work. When he did finally show up, the first thing he'd do would be look at you straight in the face and say, "Biggins here." Like, I know. Then he had this stupid superstition that he'd have to eat a boiled egg and throw salt on. And then he had this stupid superstition that he'd have to eat a boiled egg and throw salt over his shoulder before entering any new room. He used to stamp...
She's done.
I'm trying so hard. Right. He used to stand behind me in the kitchen, completely silent, watching me boil eggs for him every morning for 10 minutes. The first morning I turned my back for a second, and there was this blood-curdling scream. The stupid cunt had put his hand in the boiling water to get an egg. I used to offer all the crew tea or coffee every morning, and he'd always say, "Biggins doesn't drink, mate. It's coffee." Besides, he was always carrying around a bottle of Diet Coke with apple juice in it, and the kind of sorry. He was always carrying around a bottle of Diet Coke with apple juice in it, and the kind of apple juice that's completely clear and smells of vodka. Just getting an in-between tweet laugh. His 330 ml of apple juice would be gone by 11 a.m. every morning. And he'd return after his 2-hour lunch every day with his Diet Coke bottle full of his clear apple juice again. I've just been to W.H. Smith's, he'd say. The Smith's is next door to Bargain Booze, is it? Anyway, I think he might have been allergic to... No, I should have looked at chat. Last you said defo piss. Oh, okay. Woo, we're fine. Okay. Anyway, I think he might have been allergic to apple juice because it both made him angry and sleepy. Not a good studio for a stuffy recording booth. He'd be sat there with a face like a decomposing arse, looking at the script like it was beneath him, which it wasn't, and this was a role Dean Gaffney turned down. He'd be... Fuck. He'd be like... I'm dying. I'm doing okay. He'd be like, an eagle wouldn't say this. First of all, an eagle wouldn't say anything. Secondly, it's an owl. Just say the fucking line. Then, one time, a co-star of his, a former weather girl who I won't name, got a big laugh from the crew for a squeak she made as her character, a mouse. A big laugh from the crew for a squeak she made as her character, a mouse, got stuck in a gate. Biggins threw a stool across the studio and stormed out. Next morning... Right. Biggins threw a stool across the studio and stormed out. The next thing you know, the cunt's on the roof of a 5-story building, shouting, "I'm gonna jump! Biggins is gonna jump!" 3 hours and another completely wasted day later, he was taken down by a policeman. The next day, as he was watching me boil his eggs, I asked in confidence why he'd threatened to kill himself. He told me he was looking for the canteen. He told me he was looking for the canteen, got lost and found himself on the roof and only threatened to jump to save face. What is this? Christopher Biggins about? Okay. I burst out laughing at this, but then turned to see that he was deadly serious and tearful. So I pretend I was actually hysterically crying.
Rather than pissing myself, and then he gave me a hug, rubbing my back and going,
"Shh, shh. Biggins isn't going anywhere." Then we composed ourselves. He had his egg, we walked into the studio, and he straight away told everyone, "Bryn's just been crying in the kitchen. He says he wants to kill himself." But I sorted it. I had 100% had it with this cunt at this point. So later that evening, we had a rap party at a local pub. Biggins was pursing his lips and pompously tutting at the crew's pints again, saying, "Biggins doesn't drink." Pissed as fuck. He ordered a blueberry and coke, and when told by the bar staff there's no such thing, he screamed, "That fucking thing over there! That bollocks!" and started pointing at the Robinson's blackcurrant squash. As soon as he got it, he started pouring his apple juice in it on the bar. The landlord told him he had to leave, to which he responds, "Sir, I have dined with Gielgud, played craps with Sinatra, and sang with Cabell at the Albert Hall. Do you really think I give a bollocks I'm not getting... Do you really think I give a bollocks that I'm not getting my Scampian pubes at the Fox and Tomato?" And with that, he flounced out of the pub and my life forever. Burgundy trousers, completely sodden with piss. If you read this obviously fake story to this point, I've got good news and bad news. The good news is I have no shite famous Xmas cash-in book to flog to you. Woo, Laura! Bad news is you need to get a life. But okay, bye. And that is the end of the thread. Chat, did you enjoy? Did you enjoy mandatory Biggins?